last year.
Okay, perfect. And then it also says that you had scholarships. Ah, the other volunteer printed out the American Opportunity Credit Calculation Worksheet. That's very helpful. Can I also see your 1098T? So when quality reviewing for scholarships and grants, you're going to want to make sure that the numbers match up with what's on the American Opportunity Credit Worksheet. That box 2 is not filled in, and that boxes 4 and 6 don't have anything in them. The reason being that if boxes 4 and 6 are filled in, the return is out of scope and we aren't allowed to transmit it to the IRS. And there's special buttons you have to select in TaxSlayer if box 2 is filled in and box 7 is checked. We're also going to double check to make sure that they were at least a half-time student. But taxpayer Tina, it looks like Lainey correctly filled out your American Opportunity Credit Worksheet. And so we can see here we're going to include scholarship income included as other income right here. If you ever forget where to find this tab, there's directions on the bottom. And the education credit for $4,000. I'm going to go in here and make sure that these questions are filled out correctly. Were you convicted before the end of 2019 of a felony for possession or distribution of controlled substances?
No.
Okay. That will disqualify you from receiving the American Opportunity Credit if you were convicted of possession or distribution of such things. And then if they are, in some cases it'll ask you this extra question. Only answer no if 1, 2, and 3 apply to you. So if any one of them is incorrect, you will answer yes. Okay, is those the only forms of income you had during the year?
Yes.
Okay. So we have completed that section. Did you purchase health insurance via healthcare.gov?
No.
No. Good. Did you have health insurance through your parents?
Yes, they're my dad's employer.
Okay.
Private health insurance.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As you go, you should be checking the boxes on the quality review sheet. Okay. You have no other forms you've received from the IRS?
Correct.
Okay. And then which state are you a resident of?
I'm a resident of Arizona.
Okay.
But I worked in Utah.
Okay, so Arizona resident return and Utah non-resident. Good. Did the preparer walk you through the return?
Yes.
Would you like me to walk you through it again?
No.
Okay.
I have no questions.
Perfect. If you do have any questions, I will answer them for you. Okay. So, because this is the practice lab, it is not giving us the option to e-file, but normally when you're doing a real taxpayer's return, there will be an option here that says e-file with direct deposit. That is the option that you will want to select. You will also want to ask the client to type in their email here. That makes it easier for transmissions team to contact them if there's any problems with their return. So taxpayer Tina, would you mind typing in an email? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Here also you will want to select e-file with direct deposit for all state returns in the case that you're doing a person's real return. Okay. So you'll want to double check the bank account information because if the bank account information is incorrect and the return is submitted to the IRS, the only one that can do anything about it is the taxpayer's bank. The IRS has no control over where they send the money, and we at VITA cannot adjust the return once it's been accepted by the IRS. Most banks are unwilling to also change numbers once they've been submitted, so if these numbers are incorrect for any reason, the taxpayer is out of luck. So, taxpayer Tina, would you mind checking your routing and accounting number with me to make sure they're correct?
Yes, they all look good to me, but thank you for that information.
Okay. If there's any problems with the accounting or routing numbers, we at VITA are unable to help you with that, so make sure that they are correct. You'll also want to hit the pull refund tab again, just in case some edit to your return did adjust the number on there. This information is optional, so we generally skip it. You'll want to make sure that they filled out the consent correctly. And this information is also optional. You are more than welcome to have the taxpayer fill out the optional information, but generally if it's optional, we skip it. So, the quality reviewer will then print the return. The preparer will not print the return because there may be errors that the quality reviewer will catch, which will necessitate the return being printed again. So as the quality reviewer, I'm now going to print the return. Okay, once the return is printed, you will find the return in the printer. And so the printer will print out 2 of these forms. This is the 8879. The last page of the return and the page right after the title page will have this form. So we're going to want to take the last page of the return and give it to the taxpayer to sign. And we will want to keep the other one, the unsigned form. After that, we will staple the return. Okay, here's your return, and you'll want to keep this document for your own records.
Okay. So I keep the signed portion?
You keep the signed portion. I'm also going to give you back your W-2 after I finish cutting out a single copy for us. Here you go.
Thank you. Is there something I can keep this all in?
Yes, there is. That is what these envelopes are for. You can label them with your tax year and the location that you prepared your tax return.
So I have my return, I have my 8879 that I signed, and I also have my American Opportunity Credit Worksheet and my 1098T and other W-2 as the taxpayer. Is that everything, Parker?
Yes, that is everything. Your return is now complete. You should receive your refund between 3 to 6 weeks.
Thank you, Parker.
You're welcome. However, we, as the preparer, are not done. So now that we printed out the return, we're going to want to go down here and we check the incomplete button. There will also be a ready for review tab, and you want to select the green approved button, and you'll check the appropriate boxes on the quality review sheet. We will make sure that there's no return tags checked. If there are return tags checked, transmissions team will not transmit the return and will instead contact the taxpayer. That can be very annoying if the taxpayer has finished their return. So double check to make sure none of them are checked unless there needs to be one for a reason. And after that, we are going to hit save and exit return. If you have any questions, there's information here about how to review a return and what to collect after the return is complete. Always remember to staple the 8879 form on top. After that, the intake interview sheet. After that, all of the W-2s. And then finally, the quality review sheet. After making sure to check off that you've stapled them and that you have filed them, and then print your name as the reviewer. If you made changes to a return that has already been reviewed, make sure that you write the changes here and sign your name so transmissions team knows who's been editing the return. After that, remember 8879, then intake interview form, then the W-2s, and after that, the quality review sheet. We do not want any other forms stapled to this sheet. All other forms should be returned to the taxpayer before they leave the lab. We are then going to staple and file in here. Since this return is complete, we will file in the middle cabinet under their first name, which in this case is taxpayer T. So we will go to T, and file here. If for some reason they did not complete the return or the return was not quality reviewed, we would then file in the blue in progress. Never put any forms in here. This is for transmissions team and site coordinators, and you will not need to open the bottom shelf for any reason. Transmissions teams puts their stuff in there, and we don't want to mix up what they're doing because that can cause problems with people's returns. The only place you will put forms is in the blue in progress if they have not been quality reviewed and completed, or the ready to file if they have been completed and the taxpayer has their return. After that, you're all done and you're ready to start another person's return.